you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Will. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 Nipissing Township Council meeting. And we'll start with disclosure of pecuniary interest. None. We'll move on to staff reports. Councillor Buck.
None from me.
Councillor Chalatinko.
Nothing for me.
Councillor Scott.
I attended Heritage Day. We cooked hamburgers, sausage, hot dogs. Everybody seemed to have a good time, enjoyed it, appreciate it. My helper over there.
The food was delicious. You guys did a great job.
That one.
Yeah. And so well organized. All of you. It's
I had lots of good comments.
yeah. Thank you, Councillor Scott. Councillor Kirk.
Yes, we had a museum board meeting on August 4th. Thank you. So we, the financials, we sold $222.75 in candy, 472 in merchandise, 619 in donations. That's without the one big donation. And the special events garnered $310 for a total of $1,624. Now that said, Knox United Church donated $5,000 to the museum, and it will be going to the windows in the church. So that's good. I was supposed to go over. The thought was to go over on Sunday to deliver the card, but that's been deferred to September 15th. So I'm doing a little research on the Knox United Church or the Knox Methodist Church, Presbyterian Church. It changed over time. So anyway, Pastor John asked me if I would speak for 5 to 10 minutes, and he said if I go too long, he will use the herding hook to get me off. So anyway, and of course the event on Sunday went over extremely well. There was constant touring through the hardware store. I don't know how it was in the church.
It was busy.
It was just steady. So the day went fast, you know. Anyway, anything that I have from the meeting, you've probably already witnessed at the Heritage Day event, so I don't have anything more than that. That's it.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Kirky. And we'll move on, and we're going to get an update from. Oh, sorry, I have nothing tonight. I have 2 meetings tomorrow. So I'm going to ask Kim Turnbull if you would just give us an update on our landfill, please.
Absolutely. So as you know, we mailed out the electronic landfill cards with the final tax bills. They went out the week of June 15th. And in that final tax bill was also the newsletter that had communication about the electronic landfill cards. It was also posted on our website and social media as well. And so what that information provided was how to use the landfill card, if you did lose your card, how to get a replacement, and any information and questions that you had there. And we let residents know they could start using it as soon as possible, and they certainly did. The first card was used on June the 18th, and you can see from the report there are the numbers that were used. And from June 18th to June 30th, we had a total of 933 bags dropped off. And for the entire month of July, which is a full month recorded, we had 3,587 bags recorded. And keep in mind, we still have residents that are using their paper cards. So that's not the total amount of waste going into the landfills, because some residents are still using their paper cards. We have many residents that will come in and open their tax bills when they get to the office to pay their tax bill. That's why it's not implemented until October 1st, September 30th, the tax due date, because we didn't want people to be required to use it until the actual tax due date. And so they can still use those paper cards. But the stack of landfill sheets that are coming in from the landfill attendant, instead of it coming in like this, it's about like this for the month. So they're significantly less than what we would normally see. When the cards did go out, we received about 25 or so phone calls, 10 walk-ins, people asking for clarification, some suggestions, people asking, well, can I get another card? I see there's a cost. Can I just pay for another card? So just some clarification regarding that. Most people were very understanding about it. We did get 2 written requests asking for additional cards in consideration. And there is one resident that is asking for consideration when council does review the landfill program. But we've also received lots of positive comments about the program. And one gentleman came in and he said, I am so excited about this. I've got it right in my wallet. I think it's great. It's a great way to ensure that we still have a landfill. And I said, well, that's what council wants, is that we still have access for residents to use the landfill, and that it's easy for staff to track what's going in there so that we can provide it to our landfill monitoring company. So overall, I think it's been a successful rollout with the cards. We haven't had anybody come in to get a replacement card, which is great. We have had to replace cards with new owners, which we knew would happen, and we have a backup number of cards available when we did our initial order, and it goes with flawlessly. We reduced the card that was given to the current owner down to 0, and we issue a new card out, and it's been flawless. Nobody's gone and said that they haven't been able to access the landfill, so yeah.
Excellent. It's good. And I never thought of anybody, but a lot of people, probably my age and older, get your tax bill, put it on the shelf until it's due and open it up.
Yeah. People will come in and open and they'll be asking us a question and we'll say, oh yeah, sure, that information is in your newsletter. And we'll open the newsletter and show them where it is in the newsletter as well. So, people get used to having a certain routine. And so that's, again, why it was great council chose the date of September 30th for them to come into use, so that it wasn't required. So there wasn't frustration going to the landfill for the residents, as well as the staff working at the landfill and for the office staff in trying to implement it. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your report. So I need a mover, or moved by Councillor Foote, second by Councillor Kirky, that the minutes of our regular council meeting held July 14th, 2026 be adopted and published. All in favor? So I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Chilipinko. Councillor Scott. Before I read it, I'm gonna ask Chris
Sure.
to speak on this, please.
So we did have some questions on this item. So this was in our capital forecast. We had moved it to 2027. It's been rotating since 2024, when we knew that we were having issues with the 2013 lawnmower. So in 2024, we had placed 7,500 into the recreation capital and 7,500 into the cemetery capital for this replacement. We based that on the 2013 price of $8,000, and we doubled it, looking at how everything was going up in price. So we have 16,000 in reserve for it. When quotes came in, we got one from J&J Equipment, is the lowest one. It came in at $20,000 plus tax. and we did a trade-in, so we got a $2,000 credit. And with the amount that we do pay for tax, our cost is $18,316.80. With the 16,000 coming out of reserve, that leaves 2,316.80. That gives 1,158.40 to the cemetery and the same amount to the recreation. So when we explained to council at the last meeting that we were looking for these quotes, that we had these quotes coming in, they asked us to, so basically, with how long it's been taking to get any equipment, we had to pre-order. So we ordered, and it came in before we came to council. But it does fit within that budget, it fits within the plan. So we've revised the resolution. State the same.
Anybody else? Good. All in favor? Oh, yeah, I should have read it, and actually to speak, sorry. Did we accept the quote from J&J Equipment Repair Incorporated for the purchase of a Country Clipper commercial zero-turn lawnmower? Cost $20,340, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Foot. That we authorize the submission of a grant application to the Fire Protection Grant for the 2026-2027 allocation provided by the Ministry of the Solicitor General, and that this grant will be used to provide cancer prevention training and supplies to the Township of Nipissing Fire Department. All in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder. That we accept the quote from Best Choice Plumbing for the supply and installation of a UV system for water treatment at the Township of Nipissing Community Center at a cost of $3,164.19 plus applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. And then need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Foot. Councillor Scott. That we dedicate the remainder of the Northern Ontario Resource Development Support Fund for 2026 and the 2027 allotment to the joint project of replacing the multi-plate culvert on Hart Road shared with the municipality of Callander, and that the municipality of Callander will take the lead on this project. All in favor?
Will everything be covered with that?
We'll have some to put in both sides.
All in favor? Carried.
This is the road allowance.
So I'll get a mover and a seconder. So Councillor Kirky. Councillor Scott. So I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna ask you to speak to this, Chairman Paul. That we pass bylaw number 2026-30, being a bylaw to stop up, close, and sell part of the road allowance in front of Part Lot 11, Concession 18, designated as Part 1 on Plan 42R 11490 in the Township of Nipissing District of Perry Sound, Fletcher property, read this first, second, and third time and passed on this 11th day of August 2026.
Chad, that Fletcher, owns the property here that's looking to buy it. It's this yellow piece here, and that was in the council package. There's one neighbor that did come in to chat about it. It was the part 2 on that plan. And,
That's this one.
we chatted with her just because a lot of their entrances go over part 2, but not part 1. So once she found out that the other entrances, this has no effect on those access and egress to the property, she was okay with everything. This is just a small piece in front of his property, which will allow him to have road frontage.
And we talked about this last summer, quite a bit too, and so all in favor? Carried.
Yes, I believe council passed a resolution supporting it in principle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just takes this long to finish all the studies, I think, so.
This is progress.
I'm gonna sign mine. Oops, oops, okay, I'm gonna throw these at myself. I need 2 copies. signed. Now the discussion of the draft.
Yes, so we'll discuss first.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on is our procedure for council vacancy, and everybody has the package, and I'll ask Chris to speak on it, please.
So when council last discussed the public input on this, we talked about accepting in the first 2 years of a council term, those that had run in the council election. And I had suggested that we look at maybe those that came into the lower counts of the votes cast to represent both sides. So I did some calculations. They're included there on the last page. So in 2010, the votes cast were 1,048. 15% of that would be 157, 20% would be 209. The least number of votes was 155. In 2018, we had 396 votes cast. 15% would be 59, 20% would be 79, and 79 was the lowest number of votes cast. 2022, we had 659 votes cast. 15% would be 98, 20% would be 131, and the least votes received by a candidate that year was 73. So it's my recommendation that you look at the 20%.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I like the way you've drawn this up. Like the whole thing makes a lot of sense.
So the only one not affected is the mayoral seat. If it needs to be replaced, it should come from a member of council.
Well, and you have that in here already, so, and it does fit. But that didn't change, did it?
No.
No.
So I don't know if anybody did any homework on it, but I called a lot of the people I know through the Almaguin Roads Association. And they all have done it this way forever, and East Ferris calendar, that whole everybody. So.
Yeah. So
That's,
it's a generally understood
yes,
system.
When you're looking at the democratic process, that person got the most number of votes in the council vote. So you're representing the candidate that got the most votes. Now, they
And I
can
think
say
that's
no.
what customers are saying, customers. Constituents are saying, they said, you know, we vote for the person, they become deputy mayor, therefore they should, if heaven forbid something should
Natural
happen, they should go
progression.
into that position because we have said that is the person we trust, that is the person we.
And
Now-
we did decide that was the first 2 years, because after that,
For the mayor position, it's
Oh, for the
4
mayor, for
years.
4 years?
Council, it's 2 years, and they must receive at least 20% of
mhm,
the previous vote.
But for council,
Mhm.
Lisa,
mhm.
so if you want to.
Just for 2 years. And then after that, you'll go out and advertise again.
Which makes sense.
And that, any individuals that ran in the previous election that may not have made that cutoff can still put their name in.
Mhm.
That's not precluded. But when council asks the candidates to speak in a selection process, we put in here now that all of the candidates will be sequestered, and it'll be one at a time, and only after you've spoken can you stay.
I think that's,
And
perfect.
that's
I think
fair.
that's fair.
Mhm.
And when
Those-
you-
By the
those are-
time you get to the last person, they've listened to everything, they've listened to the questions, and now they have the advantage.
Correct.
Now, what about, because I did a little bit of research, and a lot of them use like a resume system, like because it's applying for a job. So you put your resume out, does it go out to the public? Can they have a look at what you have to offer?
Yes. We ask for letters of interest,
Mhm.
and then that gets placed on the internet, on our website as a package, just like for council, when you have things that you want on there in the FOI process.
Yeah, well, I found that, like, because I wrote the letter of interest, but to have my resume up would have been very different. Because I know I've been kind of raked across the coals for what do you offer, because we have no idea, because all you had was.
But when people put their name in to be a council candidate, they just have to be 18 years old and live in Ontario.
Yeah.
So that's up to council if you want to change that.
It doesn't fit with putting your name in and away you go. Like, it just doesn't fit what we do as a whole.
I like the way we did it last time, fixed with people sequestered. That's
Yes.
a good idea.
And we do ask them to give us a letter of
Yeah.
interest to
Yeah.
provide that. And then that would be up to council if that letter isn't present, or if those skills aren't outlined in that letter.
Yeah.
Then it's up to council to make that decision based on the skills of the individual,
Mhm.
would be my take.
And I think when you get up to speak, which you did,
Mhm.
and you know, like you're sitting there, you're listening, you think. Person has good plans, good ideas. It's my opinion.
And we made it very clear in this copy of the procedure, if we come to a point where we have to draw names, at which point, if there's a tie existing before we get to the end, the first one is excluded and it's underlined. So it's very clear.
Mhm.
And the next one is excluded as well. And then when you come to that final,
Yeah.
the first one selected is successful. And we underline those words so that it's easier to follow during the process.
So
We have a bylaw to pass it if council is comfortable doing it.
I need a mover and a seconder. Turkey. And we passed bylaw number 2026-31, being a bylaw to establish the procedure for the appointment of an eligible elector to fill a council vacancy under the Municipal Act for the town, or for the corporation of the township of Nipissing. Read this first, second, and third time and passed on this 11th day of August, 2026. All in favor? Move on to correspondence. Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks and Treasurers of Ontario, AMCTO, winner of the AMCTO Zone 7 Award, is sitting right next to me.
Yes.
And what an honor. That's very proud of you. That's,
Congratulations.
looks good on everybody, every staff member we have, because you're all part of it. But congratulations. Thank you.
Good job.
I didn't know if you knew that, so that's a good award. Ombudsman Ontario 2025-2026 Annual Report. So if you want some good reading, the book is in the office.
We didn't copy it because it's a book. Short version is Nipissing has one complaint registered against them, but it was investigated and dismissed for all years. We're good.
Did it ever go anywhere that? Cause I know a lot of municipalities were fighting. Cause they've had so many complaints about, they're getting all these fees and charges. And then found not guilty. That maybe somebody else should be start paying this instead of the townships.
I think that's more of the integrity commissioner side, but not the ombudsman side.
Or
We
maybe I
don't
got
pay
mixed.
for an ombudsman investigation other than with our time.
But you're right, the Integrity Commission, you should be able to,
Yeah,
if you're,
that came up with the Perry Sound District at that time. It was,
I believe the province is still trying to work out how to make it fair.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to dissuade people from putting in complaints.
no,
And it's a fine line to
Yeah.
determine the vexatious complaints, so they're still working on it.
oh, yeah, the one township was 11 complaints in 3 months. So that's a lot of money coming out of the roads and they're frivolous complaints.
And it's not up to the staff or the CAO
No.
or the clerk to hear the complaint. It goes directly to the integrity commissioner, so
Yeah.
that's where you want an integrity commissioner in place who will verify the complaint before moving forward.
Yeah.
Mr. Elston did that, and we've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
the Corporation of the Township of Bruce Mines, physician shortage in Northern Ontario, and the Practice Ready Ontario program. And they spoke when we were in Timmins on this. Corporation of the Village of Sunridge opposing changes to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The Town of Blue Mountains support from Halton Hills regarding modernization Ontario's invasive plants rules to protect taxpayers, municipal land, agriculture, natural heritage, and local gardens.
This one is obviously something that I'm a little bit versed on, but it makes sense. We're trying to keep invasive species out, and we're not really doing anything in our municipality at this point, but how can a garden center sell the stuff that we're trying to keep out? It's. we're
Yeah, they
being-
sell it as a decorative and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is just asking the government to step in and say, you can't sell this stuff. Like, this is the CFIA's job, is not to allow this stuff in, but for some reason they're not touching it.
So if you wanna bring it back at our next,
it makes sense to support
to
it.
support it?
Doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
That's
only
right.
gonna help.
Okay,
And we've seen in the past where enough communities support a drive
yeah,
Mhm.
that it works.
Yeah.
So.
okay, so we'll do a resolution for our next meeting. Municipality of Central Manitoulin, support for the Ontario Health Care System, and they spoke, we were at Phnom as well on this. Town of Whitby, review of the Ontario Land Tribunal and enhancing, difference, to municipal planning decisions. Huron OPP Detachment Board Letter of Support appeal to the Attorney General of Ontario to review and reform of provincial offenses systems. So that's really has nothing to do with us because it's speed radar cameras and school zones that are more city bound. Golden Sunshine Municipal Nonprofit Housing Corporation Board of Directors meeting held on May 19th, 2026. Thank you, support from Trout Creek Agricultural Society. Nipissing Township Museum Board of Management meeting held on July 8th, 2026. And I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Chalapico. Councillor Foot. We received the correspondence report as presented. All in favor? Carried. And I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Scott.
It's a big one.
Councillor Kirby.
I can say that the grader is included on.
Yes,
And the
Yeah,
police.
and the police.
And yeah, there's
And the
name.
surface treatment.
Yes.
And the
Winter sand, salt, everything. It's,
And the annual insurance,
Oh, yes, the
Oh, yeah.
insurance. Let's not
Insurance.
forget the insurance.
I just might say if you guys were gunslingers, you'd have been in trouble when I asked for the insurance and that. So anyhow, we will move on. But the statement of accounts dated July 18th, 21st, 23rd, 28th, 29th, and August 1st, 2026, totaling $1,127,409.85 be approved. All in favor? Carried. Yes.
And 85 cents, don't forget.
Did I not say? you?
You said it, yeah. I like to.
Yeah. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Chalapico. Councillor Scott. That we pass bylaw number 2026-32, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on August 11th, 2026. Read this first, second, and third time and passed on this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Carried. And I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Kirby. Councillor Foot. That the meeting be adjourned to 7:05 PM. Next regular council meeting to be held September 1st, 2026. All in favor?